Earlier today, Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey filed suit against Planned Parenthood Great Plains for trafficking minors out of state to obtain abortions without parental consent, which is a violation of the law in Missouri. Truly disturbing allegations. Well, given what Missouri's investigation into Planned Parenthood has exposed, could this mark the beginning of the end of Planned Parenthood's presence in the state? Here to break down the allegations and what he has discovered is Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey. General Bailey, welcome back to Washington Watch.
Thank you so much for having me on.
So give us kind of the thumbnail sketch of your lawsuit that you filed against Planned Parenthood based upon what?
Well, there was an investigative journalist that filmed a video at a Planned Parenthood clinic in Kansas City in November of 2023, right at the end of the year, that uncovered that agents of Planned Parenthood were committed to conspiring to transport women across state lines for abortions without providing proper consent for juveniles, that they were willing to conceal after the fact a sexual exploitation of a 13-year-old girl, and that this was a consistent pattern of behavior and practice of this clinic. And I would also point out that no one should be surprised by this. The Planned Parenthood's history in the state of Missouri is one fraught with law violations.
Right.
I mean, since 2018, the state has been uncovering a commitment by Planned Parenthood to fail to comply with state statute. This has gotten to a point where this is now illegal behavior. They must be held accountable. And one wonders why this organization is allowed to operate within the state of Missouri, given these flagrant and willful violations of our state laws.
So, General, I actually have that clip. I'm going to play a clip of what you just described. Play clip number 3.
How many times do you do this a year?
What, like abortion?
Girls coming out of the state, yes.
Oh, every day.
We get, yeah.
Every day. Every day.
Because
we set up hotels for them. We set up every day. Every day.
So this is so great because she's 13.
Yeah.
She's so young.
I mean, this is 13 years old. Planned Parenthood, in the clip goes on to show that they conceal it intentionally from the parents. What else have you discovered in your investigation?
Well, Tony, you're right. I mean, first of all, they conceal it from the parents, but later in the video, the agent of Planned Parenthood brags about forging documents and deceiving custodial authorities, juvenile courts, schools about the transport of these minors across state lines. And look at the smirk on the employee's face. They're proud of this behavior. They're excited to do it. Their commitment to the destruction of human life is, they put that before the health and safety of women and girls and obedience to state law. This is disgusting. Look, we know that in 2018, they were using a moldy abortion machine on women. That was proven. And that the doctors at some of these clinics refused to properly report medical complications from these procedures as required by state statute. Flash forward to 2019, 2020, when the same physicians for Planned Parenthood testified under oath that they were not providing the statutorily required risk notifications about the danger of the procedures to women. And now this. Again, this is a consistent pattern of behavior establishing that Planned Parenthood is more committed to the destruction of human life with no regard for the health or safety of parents, of children or of women. I would say that at this point, it is absolutely a certainty that Planned Parenthood cannot provide health, ethical or safe health care to anyone in the state of Missouri.
Now, according to your lawsuit, this is not just like a one-off that just happened last year. This goes back decades. I mean, this is their mode of operation of circumventing, violating the law.
That's right. And Tony, I'd like to point out too, in the state of Missouri, a 13-year-old female can't consent to sex. That's a sexual offense against a minor. If that young girl showed up pregnant at that clinic, and that clinic by statute is a mandatory reporter. So when I say that they're, concealing the sexual exploitation of children, that's what I mean. They had a duty under the law to report that sexual offense against the minor so that the victim could be cared for and so that the criminal wrongdoer could be held accountable by the criminal code. And the state was deprived of that ability because they refused to comply with the state mandatory reporting requirements.
So in your lawsuit, as you go after Planned Parenthood, will Planned Parenthood as a corporation be held liable, or will they throw the clinic workers under the bus who were simply following the orders of the clinic?
Well, we're not going to let them escape liability under that theory. What the individual in the video expressed was that this was the habit, routine, and custom of the entire clinic, not just one rogue individual. And so she's acting as an agent of Planned Parenthood, and under an agency theory of law, the entire organization is responsible. But again, this is not an isolated incident. This is a pattern of behavior. And what's frightening is right now, radical progressives are pushing abortion initiative petitions in the state that seek to turn Missouri into California, and Missourians don't want that. At the end of the day, what is illegal now and what Planned Parenthood is having to conceal and do behind closed doors and is only uncovered through this kind of heroic investigation, they would be allowed to do if these initiative petitions pass. So now is the time to expose this wrongdoing for what it is, to hold wrongdoers accountable. We need a court order putting a stop to it in the future, and we need discovery so we can look back in time and hold the wrongdoers accountable.
And I would just add that it's not just Missouri. I know that there'll be, well, this is just an isolated clinic. You're arguing it's all of Missouri. I've written about this in other states. This is Planned Parenthood in the way that they operate. I mean, an organization, an entity that takes innocent human lives, you cannot expect them to abide by the law.
No, Tony, and you know I'm not given to hyperbole, but at this point, the best label I have for Planned Parenthood is a lawless cult of death.
What do you anticipate will be the timeline of action regarding your lawsuit?
Well, a judge has been assigned today. We're looking for a docket entry that'll give us our first court date. We need to get this process underway. Again, we need a court order. If Planned Parenthood refuses to comply by the law, we'll get a court order requiring them to do so and hold in contempt anyone who is trafficking women out of state or for abortions or concealing the sexual exploitation of children in the future. There's going to be a discovery process, and we're going to get to the bottom of this. Again, we need to know how many people were violating state statute and the degree of culpability and how many state statutes were violated. Of course, there's the mandatory reporting requirement. Right. There's parental notification requirement. If people were forging documents, we will bring the full force and effect of the law to bear on those individuals.
Well, General Bailey, I thank you for joining us and to share this information with us. I look forward to following up with you as you find out more information about Planned Parenthood's lawless activities. And I again commend you for leading out to protect children and women from those who would prey upon them. Thanks for joining us today.